Well, g'day guys, and welcome to Noob Eden and the 100 Frigates project. Last time we were together, we were looking at the first 10 seconds of a frigate fight and getting set up, particularly in the context of a faction warfare complex. So I thought we'd take frigates 5 and 6 and we would try to apply that and just see how much success we have using our little brawling Merlin. Let's go. But first, a reminder to check the description for this video. It's been 12 months since we've started the channel. It's been an amazing ride, and we'd like to give away some skins as a way of saying thank you. Now you can see I've already messed up. Because of my short range weapons, I want to set up right on the warp-in beacon, but I was off chasing the NPC frigate with my short range weapons to deal with it, and as I've been doing that, it's dragged me, about 14 k's off the beacon, and I've got a slasher here on D-scan, so I'm not optimally set up ready to go for this fight. Now, it doesn't prove to be a problem in the long run because this slasher, as you'll see, the fight unfolds, wants to get in nice and close in on me anyway, so I'm burning towards it. Hey, I follow the process that we covered in the last video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link so that you can go back and watch it. So we get the fight underway pretty well. We've got our high DPS short range void ammo loaded. We're right up in this slasher's face. We're starting to apply damage nice and quick. Things are looking pretty good. So at this point, we're feeling pretty confident. We've got the slasher well into structure. We've still got about a quarter of our shields left. We're right up in his face with our high DPS short range void ammo. But things are about to go very wrong. Well, you'll notice at this point that the slasher now starts to repair his armor, but also my damage application just drops right off. In fact, if you have a look at our notifications up here, we're hardly hitting the slasher at all. So we've become a victim of this thing called tracking. Now, tracking, without going into great detail, what's happened is we've got a small frigate that's got in nice and close. It's orbiting around us faster than our guns can actually rotate to keep up with it. So we're kind of shooting behind it basically as it goes around us. And if you have a look at the stats here for my my Void, you can see a turret tracking of 341. Now the Void ammunition is quite strong and powerful up close, but it does have a tracking penalty. So because I've got this ammo in, which it's effectively the wrong ammunition for what's happened in this fight. This slasher's got in nice and tight, he's orbiting as close, and you can see these blasters are missing him. They're effectively shooting behind him because he's going around us too fast. And as a result, there's very little we can do at this point. We can't apply damage, he can certainly apply damage to us, and the result is, of course, a kill report. Unfortunately not the type we were after.
Warp drive active.
And a big thanks to the pilot who confirmed that in a chat that I had with him after the fight. And you can see here he says, once my orbit got stable, you stopped hitting me. Well, yeah, we're aware of that. We had tracking issues. So how are we going to change that? Well, I think we better put some different ammunition in these blasters, something that will track better before our next fight. So here we are set up in frigate number 6, Cylinder Blaster Merlin, but you'll see that we've changed the ammo from Void to antimatter, or a faction, or a navy antimatter. Now, slightly less DPS, but if you have a look at our turret tracking figure now at 455, that's significantly better, about another 30% or so improvement on what we were running in the previous fight. So let's see if that helps us out. Alright, we've got an Incursus on short on our D-scan, so we're set up, ready to orbit him. Follow that process that we looked at in the previous video. We get our lock on, we get our application on nice and fast, and we get up in his face and we start applying damage really quick. So far, so good. Alright, now let's pause and just look at a couple of things that are going well, because it looks like we're well on top of this fight, but just like the previous one, you're about to see that things unfold for us in a moment. I'm happy with the fact that I've actually expanded the velocity column in my overview, so I can see quite clearly the speed that the other ship is traveling at. That's very important information. And I can see my velocity at the bottom here of the capacitor wheel. So I have some sense of comparison. I can get a relative comparison of my velocity versus those, because remember, for this brawling ship, I need to be right up on top of them. And if they are faster than me, that means they can pull range. And in fact, with these blasters and this antimatter in, My optimal is only around about 1,000 meters, and my fall off is 4,000. So that means at 4,000, I'm only doing 50% of the damage. Now, the other thing that's a bit of a problem here is this Incursus, I know, happens to have bonuses to its armor repairer. So it's taken a while for him to get his repairer on, but you'll see in a moment his reps are about to hit. And also at that distance now, he's out at that sort of 50% range. So I'm really only doing half the damage, and quite quickly things unravel for me. Right, you would have just seen a couple of desperate attempts for me to approach him. I don't want to set orbit. I want to just get as close as I can, as quick as I can, because I'm not doing enough damage to break his reps, and now my shields are gone, so I don't have much tank left at all. But if I look at the velocities, what am I at? About 515 versus his 471. It's pretty close. There's not much in it, and I'm overheated. I've got my guns overheated, but I just can't get close enough to get more damage application in time to win this fight. Alright, let's give it one more try. We're in frigate number 7. We've got this Kestrel that comes in on us. So we get our setup perfect. Our first few seconds, our orbit, our application, everything goes as planned, as we learned in the previous video. And you'll see for us, luckily, this fight happens at a much closer range. The speed of the Kestrel is less. The damage is being applied nice and early, and it's happening at a closer range, which means we're able to put more DPS. So it just becomes a DPS race, and luckily for us, we win this race, and we can chalk up another kill for 100 frigates. Alright, just as we wrap up, I'm going to finish off this Plex and get some LP. Hey, what have we learnt? We learnt about tracking, that if we've got the wrong ammunition or something else that affects our tracking, ships can get in what we call under your guns, and we just can't hit them, and that cost us the fight. We also learned that the Merlins are quite slow. That's something we're going to look at in future episodes to see what we can do to solve that problem. But what did we get out of doing this? Just to show you that faction warfare is pretty good, even at the lowest tier. In this particular Plex, what was this? This was a small, I think. What did I get? 8,750 loyalty points. And at the moment, that's kind of close to, I don't know, around about 12, 13, 14 million that paid for all of the ships that we lost in this episode. So I hope that was helpful. Can't wait to get out and see what happens with the next few frigates. Don't forget to check the description for details of how to win a skin. And yeah, good job. Well done.